customers while doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Live.
So
are you yawning? Is this already the yawning part of the episode? Yawn.
we were always yawning.
That's our secret.
Here, I want to go.
Oh, okay.
I want to start.
Sorry.
I want to start it now.
It's time. Let's start. We're going.
Okay,
we're live. We're in front of
Hey,
people. We're in front of 0 people.
Do you think it would be a bad call to start without Roman, or should we wait for him?
Roman who?
It would be poor form to start without him, but there's no one here, so I don't like starting if anyone's watching me. So I'm just gonna start now and take these pants off and run, eh?
This is Comics Place presents Poor Form.
This is the Comics Place presents a perfectly poor form podcast, episode 420, man.
Yeah, bruh.
That's right, episode 420 about comic books, a comic book podcast wherein 2 to 3 trepid comic book explorers bury their nose and faces in a mound of comic books every week, and then we come out of the mound with ideas and opinions and things that we've liked and things that we didn't like, because each one of us is pedantic in our own unique way. Even you, dear listener, may have your own pedanticism to you. And to that, I say cheers, cradle of civilization, nerddom. I am Jeff.
I am Django.
Django, it's so good to have you on here today. It has been a pretty bonkers, I don't know, 4 to 5 weeks, right?
Like 1,000 years.
It's been a pretty bonkers 1,000 years. Ever since we got into that comic game, it's been pretty crazy. Although I will say, when we were young comic book boys in our second location, and we were starting to ramp up, we were like, we should vision getting bigger. Like, what are some big things that we could do? We could make more money, have a larger store, a bigger staff. All of those things have happened. So you can't say we didn't do it to ourselves.
Some of that stuff is mutually exclusive, though, if you know what I mean.
Not at all.
How much bandwidth do we actually have to do more than 2 of those things?
No. You got to sacrifice a lot to be able to do that. But the comics game is a fun game, and the rules are fast and loose. But Django, a part of what's been kind of a couple crazy weeks, and we talked about it on the previous episode, which was 2 or 3 weeks ago now.
1,050 years ago.
Actually, I don't know if we've recorded an episode since being back from Comics Pro.
We haven't. No, we're it's been 2-3 weeks.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So and in that time, Django and I went to Comics Pro with the managers at the shop. We got to hang out with our best buddy, Brian Garside and Shannon Merritt. That was fantastic. And then we came back, and I went to Canada for the weekend with my lovely wife. Went to the hot springs that I grew up going to as a little kid that I haven't been in 18 years. Then drove back across the state. And then 2 days later, went down to Seattle to Emerald City Comic Con, where we picked up badges and hung out for a couple of days. I went with Sean. You went with Colette. You were there for 2-3 days.
Yeah, I got down there Wednesday and left Friday night.
Yeah. So all that to say, a crazy several days, or weeks rather, but they've all been pretty wrapped up in comic books, Django.
It's been very comic booky, comics and comic adjacent.
I feel like a great way to maybe get in, or maybe even be answered by this question, but I have a voicemail from my good friend Will Elmer.
Will.
And I was just at a birthday party with him yesterday evening. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hello and happy episode number 420, my friends. Yeah, is this a holiday? Do you partake? I don't know the answer to that question. Or maybe I do. Hey, on the subject of being forgetful, it's a question that I could have asked before, but every podcast is somebody's first podcast, right? The other day, maybe a couple weeks ago, Jeff was talking about Comics Pro. We were having a conversation, and he told me this nice little story about James Tynion. And you guys might know, not a huge fan, but he also kind of humanized him a little bit, made me feel bad for hating on him. And there's that old adage, never meet your heroes. Well, what about never meeting your villains.
Oh.
Who have you guys met? Comic-Con, Comics Pro, something else, where you weren't a big fan. And then they turn out to be a nice human being, and you felt guilty about it. I'd love to know what your experiences are. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Oh, dude, turnips love you guys, and I love Will. And Django, don't let me forget, because we actually have a couple mail contributions to sprinkle in throughout the episode.
Oh, all right.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, the old adage, never meet your heroes. I do kind of fall into that category of somebody who kind of would rather not meet my heroes. It was kind of funny going into Comics Pro. Django and I had known that Jonathan Hickman was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my 3 favorite writers in comics and always has been. And I was like, well, shit, I'm going to feel compelled to say something to him because that's the kind of person I am, but I don't really want to. And for me, I was just like, why? Like, I don't have much to say to him, like, or anybody that, and like, sometimes taking in art and media, it makes me ask questions or curiosities about how it was created that I would like answered. But for the most part, like, I don't, outside of wanting him to know I exist and want to be best friends with him, I was like, why would I want to talk to him? But I did talk to him and it went well. He was friendlier than I thought he'd be.
So, okay. We'll get to Will's question in a minute here,
Yeah.
but so, yeah, I don't mind receiving compliments.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have a harder time receiving compliments.
Yeah. And
I wonder if that's related to my, like, I don't ever not want to meet somebody, even if they're my hero. Like, the only person I would probably not really want to meet is Tom Waits.
Mm-hmm.
But like anybody else I can think of, like, I would love to tell everybody that I like their work, like, hey, I like your work. You've impacted me in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if, like, your hesitation to receive a compliment paints other people with that same brain for you. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. However, my feelings about like receiving compliments is not like an uncommon feeling. Like,
No.
in most biographies I read or people that I like, they're like, yeah, it's embarrassing to me to receive a compliment. I love giving a compliment to people. Like, I do want to tell these people that things have impacted me in a positive way. But I'm also aware of the fact that, like, there's a chance that that's just going to make them uncomfortable. And in doing so and approaching things from that regard, it kind of implies and sets up a power dynamic of putting them like above you. And it feels like it's very difficult to be treated like an equal by somebody you like or respect like that, if you set that original thing up as the paradigm between the two of you.
Sure.
Which isn't to say that you can't upset that or whatever, but I've certainly gushed to people and not gushed to people, and 40 minutes later when you pass that person you gushed to and they're sort of like, oh god, it's that guy, like I could talk to him again, or like, I don't know, he really likes me, I'm not gonna be able to live up to that. I was just listening to Christian Bale talk about that. He was doing an interview and he said, yeah, don't meet your heroes. He's like, I've met my heroes, it's not great to. They are at their best when they are doing the thing that you love them for, but that's them at their best, and they are not that all the time. And he's like, I see people get disappointed when they meet me. He's like,
Right.
so yeah, I think about it often, but comics are an interesting kind of subset of all of that, because while I still put Jonathan Hickman as like, pedestal, and I don't deserve to be that man's friend, it's still a small enough community, and there are not the huge aura of fame around these people. So like, it's an industry that does allow you to feel more on the same footing than, I think a lot of other things.
So which villain have you met? The only villains I've met that I could talk about are probably people I wouldn't want to name drop.
Yeah, I've got one person in the industry that I really don't like, but I'm not going to say that name out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, who was somebody that I didn't want to like, and I met them, and then ended up being kind of won over by them. That's a really good question. I mean, James Tynan is a good example of that. Like, similar to Will, I didn't despise him or anything, but I had a perception of him, and
Mhm.
I found him to be, especially the second year of seeing him, compassionate and certainly excited to help people feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think everybody that I've met who um I wasn't a big fan of, I've come to appreciate them more just by meeting them,
yeah.
right? Like
I've got
everybody.
I've got one that I will still always be embarrassed about. But when I went to Morrison Con when I was real little, before I was working at the shop, my girlfriend at the time loved Gerard Way, and he was at Morrison Con as a guest. And like I saw him while we were walking through the hotel at one point, and I went up and stopped and talked to him. And I said, oh man, I hate even thinking about it. But I said, hey, I've never read any of your comics, but my girlfriend is a huge fan of you. So like I would feel bad if I didn't say hello or something like that. And it was just this like such a douchey thing to say, like I've never read any of your comic books, but my girlfriend likes you. It's like, okay, well, then why are you talking to me? Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll always feel terrible about that. Icky. But he was gracious, and I walked away from that. Obviously I had some contempt for him because he's a rock star and my
Mhm.
girlfriend loved him and he's cooler and better than me at everything. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm gonna try and cut you down a little bit if I can, if I'm a 22-year-old. But yeah, so that one. Humanized Gerard Way. Wasn't looking forward to, stroking his ego, but he was a really nice, normal person out of the whole thing. And I was
Nice.
not,
Nice.
as it turns out.
Um, Thanks for writing in, Will.
Thanks,
And
Will.
I I have a gag that I don't
Oh,
know. This is just lanyap. This was given to me by the
oh,
gods, Jeff.
okay, wow.
And I think you're going to appreciate it.
Okay. Lap
Um,
Yam.
I
Mhm.
got to go get my comics. You talk to people for a minute.
Okay, this is fun. What I was excited to do, ladies and gentlemen, was leave him high and dry myself while I went and got some water. But since we've got no viewers right now, and Andrew still edits this podcast, it'll be an excellent opportunity for him to cut this section out. But in the meantime, I would say within Emerald City Comic Con this year, we went down and I got to maybe my favorite interaction. I hung out with Maria Wolf and Babs Tarr, and both of them were exceptionally kind and real sweet. And Maria Wolf just like wouldn't stop talking to us about a comic she's working on. And like it was hard to get away from her. So that was awesome. Anytime somebody's like actually that eager to be giving you that time, it's excellent. And then Babs Tarr is just a freaking cool lady. But like I said, listeners, I'll be right back.
Oh, the tables have turned. I guess that's how it goes. I got to hang out with Ben Templesmith this week, and I got to see Gabriel Hardman. I got commissions from both of those guys, and got some pictures in my shadow book. Also, let's see, what else did we do? Oh, we had dinner with Tony Fleece and some of his buddies. So that was super fun. And we kept on seeing our customers, the Heathens, over and over and over.
So
Hey, welcome
Django,
back, bud. Well done.
hey, this is
Well done.
just the absolute. I told the listeners we were having a conversation that while you were gone, I was like, well, I was just going to go get a glass of water. So I was going to stick him with that. It's been several weeks, and a number of things have happened in comics, in series. We have adventures to tell people about. So we're just going to kind of buckshot this whole episode here. But Django, for our listeners here, Comics Pro summary. Don't just give me a cliche dumbass answer. What was the coolest thing about Comics Pro this year? Dude,
Coolest thing. Dang.
I had a pretty good interaction with Todd McFarlane there.
That was a really good
The
interaction you had with Todd
handler
McFarlane.
was mortified by how I was treating Todd, but it was like friendly, but
she was confused and kept pointing at you and looking at me like, is he okay?
Like, one person's like, Jeff, go.
Keep moving.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Todd was like, no, I love this guy. I'm gonna draw a skull on this.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. You know, you mean other than breathing the same air as David Dasmalchian, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was cool. So Comics Pro, for those who don't know, it's where a bunch of comic retailers get together and people from the publishing and distribution and supplies, all sorts of aspects of the comic book industry get together and they give presentations and, you know, do a bunch of stuff. Very inside baseball. But this year it was in California, which means there was a little bit extra star power. So one day Todd McFarlane just showed up, but cooler than that is one day Frank Miller and Klaus Janson showed up, and I missed them entirely.
Me too.
But we were in the same building as Frank Miller, and that's crazy. And he gave a presentation, but he signed copies of comics that we were able to get, and he has a autobiography coming out, but he had a bunch of advanced reader copies that he signed and got for people. So do we know where that is, Django? I want to read that.
Yeah, it's I got it behind the counter upstairs.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then any highlight for Comics Pro for people before we talk a little bit about Emerald City?
I mean, I had a really good time. We threw that get together for our comic shop assistant users, and last year we did something like that, and it was in a hotel room, and it was tight. And I don't mean tight
And
like
awkward.
cool. I mean, it was like everybody was nose to nose. There's not enough room.
And it was 2 nights, and it was a large period of time, so there was never that many
Yeah.
people there. So it always felt like you were hosting a bad party.
Yeah. So this time we just did it first night only at a pizza place down the street, and I think it was the most relaxed we probably saw any of those people that whole time.
Yeah.
Certainly the most relaxed I felt was hanging out with all these people that we know and like.
Yeah, listeners, if you don't know, Django and I have a point of sale business that comic stores use. We don't talk about it on the podcast.
We
very
don't,
often.
do we?
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a point of sale system that we use in our store, but like 120 or so other stores use it. So when we do the Comics Pro or when we go to events, we try to have a gathering of all those people. We've been doing that for a handful of years, but it's a cool little community. It was the first time that we got to buy everybody dinner and drinks. I gave a speech toast, and then another person gave a toast speech in a positive way. That was good.
And then I raised my glass.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really good. That was the same week that White Skies had come out.
Oh, yeah.
And the week before that, or 2 weeks before that, was the first issue of Dork. And this week, a book called Narco and Nectar, both of those came out, which is worth mentioning because, you know, it happened with the first issue of Assorted Crisis Events a while afterwards, but image books have been starting to kind of pop off in the secondary market. So meaning people are scooping these up, or as many as they can get, and then reselling them online because there's a lot of speculation that they'll become valuable issues based on television rights or all sorts of different things. But it's pretty interesting. Every X number of years, I feel like this happens. I feel like it happened around the time that I began working at the shop in the 2012 image boom. And then there was kind of right before lockdown. Remember, like Marvel was doing it, and like there was a lot of first appearances at DC. Also, James Tynan's run.
Yeah.
And then it's been mellow lately, but yeah, it's like the third time now where we're getting a lot of people having a lot of interest in issues of comics and new series. What do you attribute it to? What do you think?
I heard an interesting theory the other day.
Yeah.
And it is that the people who were going hard on absolute issues are transferring some of that interest or some of that speculation from the Absolute Batman and the reprints and all that, which are cool and have huge demand, but also have huge supply.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe they're realizing that those aren't a forever investment. And are maybe like moving that interest, that kind of quick buy it and flip it speculation stuff over to other series, which
that's smart.
I like that theory. And I've been trying to approach everything from kind of that angle the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks, just thinking about it like, okay, it just gives you a better handle on what's probably actually going on there.
Totally. I would bet that surely that is a portion of it.
Yeah.
I think that like with comic speculation specifically, whether it's accurate or not, or real or not, like as soon as somebody is sort of like, oh, I think this one's going to be valuable, whether it is or isn't, then you have 5 other people that are like, well, I'm going to get it too.
Yeah.
And then like the fear of missing out and everything. But like, it happens quick. And as a result of somebody hearing something and, because it's an industry that if you are going to capitalize on it, you need to move quick and in large quantity. And so I think that, anytime it starts rumbling, we get people jump into it, which I think it is awesome. Like I think there's a lot of reasons that folks that work at stores might have resentment towards that happening with comics,
Sure.
but I think it's just an awesome reminder that, 3 years ago, people were like, Jeff, Django, comics industry's dying. How is that? And we're always like, it's not. Like, people continue to put extreme value in these things because of its relationship with pop culture. And like, it can never die. And it just continues to do this.
Yeah. And we have like, as comic nerds, I think, like industry, just to generalize a little bit, I think there's a little bit of gatekeepy, like, I don't want somebody else to be into this cool thing that I'm into. That's really hard to pull away from. Right. And, on top of that, there are logistical problems when a book spikes and sells out, then it's really hard to sell issue 2 or whatever. That makes our jobs a little bit harder. But I think also it's like, oh man, somebody with a bigger wallet is swinging it around in here and snapping up the stuff that I want. That I think, I don't know. I don't think it's actually bad for business, but it feels like it is. It hurts somewhere inside our nerd.
Yeah, it does. It's interesting. And I think that it comes from being small in some way, being insecure, protective, or defensive. But yeah, I mean, at worst, you're looking at the need to wait until a collected edition comes out.
Right.
And you're at worst, not selling 6 issues and they have to wait for this paperback that you'll probably be able to sell a lot of them for quite a while if that was the case of the issues for whatever it is. So, it's not like people are missing out and never going to be able to engage with it. So,
yeah, most of the time there's a second print around the corner that will also sell out.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Oh, careful. We got no copyright hits here.
Oh, that's a good call.
Sorry, Robert Zimmerman. We won't do it again.
Hey, Django.
Yeah, buddy.
Check this out.
What's that?
Hey, guys. Happy episode 420. Hey.
No.
I don't know. I just had to.
Moo.
You can't avoid it. It's episode 420. Well, you have a question from me this week. I've been watching this very interesting YouTube channel of this guy who cooks people their last meals. He asks this celebrity guest, what would you like to have as your last meal? And then he cooks it for them and interviews them. It's very interesting. Do recommend. But that is my question for you guys this week. Given 3-course meal, does not have to necessarily be, like appetizers, entree, dessert, that type of thing. It can be 3 entrees if you want. But if you had the option for a 3-course meal as your final meal, what would it be? Thank you. I also just have to throw out that I think Django's is probably just 3 po' boys covered in blood slaw, but that's besides the point. You come up with your own.
Well, I tell you what, that's a good point, Andrew. It's likely Django's. However, that item wouldn't have eggplant on it. And I think Django's last meal has to include eggplant in some regard.
I knew exactly what my last meal would be as soon as he started asking it.
Yeah?
Yep.
What was it?
Half and half catfish, shrimp po' boy, eggplant parmesan, and bread pudding.
Ooh, bread
Just
pudding's good.
Load me up with carbs before you send me to the chamber.
Yeah. I would have 2 meals that my mom has historically cooked for me for my whole life. The first we call birthday casserole because I used to have her make it every year for my birthday, and it is a broccoli, cheese, and rice casserole. And
Nice.
then the other would be Monterey casserole. That's right, middle class to working teacher parents. So we ate a lot of casseroles growing up, but this one's got rice and Monterey Jack cheese and like this sour cream herb blend, and then giant slabs of tomatoes and onions, and then mozzarella on top, baked in the oven. That's my favorite thing, and my mom makes
Nice.
it for me my whole life, so I still get that on my birthdays. So I would have both of those, and then I'd have to have a dessert, which would probably be, you know, ice. Oh, then I'd have a bowl of cereal. I'd have a bowl of Lucky
Yep.
Charms cereal to finish it off.
Yep. And to answer for Roman,
Yeah.
it would be taco and
Taco.
some rice with hot sauce in it,
Yep.
and probably some ice cream so he could put it in his chest hair.
Yep, that is exactly what it would be. Thank you so much, Fox, friend of the show, Andrew Carlson. And as always, thank you so much for editing the podcast for us every week. We really appreciate it. Us.
His name
We
is
really appreciate us.
Editor.
If you are listening to this stoned off your ass because it's episode 420, dog, and you're thinking, I want to be a proactive, benefiting part of this podcast. I want to go out of my way and do a little extra work to help things run smoothly, which is, I think, what all of us do when we're stoned and thinking. You could contribute to this podcast in a written form or an audio form like they have done by sending an email to jeff@thecomicsplace.com. And, you can do that. Just send correspondence my way. It's a fun game we play. Send it. Okay, Django.
Yeah.
We have some comics have come out. Something huge happened
Comic
this
books.
week to wrap up a thing that DC has been doing. This week saw the publication of DCKO number 5 by Scott Snyder, Javi Fernandez, and Alejandro Sanchez. This is the end of a mini-series event that was so much better than it ever should be or could have been. I don't understand how they pulled it off, but it was magnificent. And the way that they ended it with this, for me, harkened back very much to things like Final Crisis. Or Crisis on Infinite Earths, like the huge, epic, borderline spiritual superhero-ness. So this was maybe my favorite issue of the series, but I just absolutely loved it. What did you think, Gang?
Well, I was excited to hear your take on it because I think that the way that this wrapped up is more of a Jeff thing than a Django thing.
Totally.
When Superman and Darkseid grew to the size of cities and started hitting each other with powers, I was like, all right, cool.
Across time and space.
Yeah.
At all places at once. Like and the way that they did that, they did it in the first issue as well, but like I love the way that they're depicting, existing in all times at once. And I loved that.
Flipping through panels and
falling through realities and time and space. And like this double page spread of like spiritual Superman, and like the leaning into Superboy Prime aesthetics that he was kind of taking on at that point.
With the Omega crown or whatever.
Yeah.
I like chunks of it. I really bounced off of chunks of it.
Tell me what you bounced off, buddy, because I'm excited to hear that.
Well, it's the Omega crown.
Yeah.
Stupid. I did not like that. And I'm sure
we knew that was good. They brought that up in issue number 1.
Yeah, but just like look at it. It's like a halo around Superman that's
an Omega symbol.
I just don't don't love it.
Okay.
And sort of the he gets to tag people in. Why does he get to tag people in? Why does everybody else get to show up?
Yeah.
What is this pocket world, pocket dimension? What are the mechanics there? Like, I'm down with it just
Yeah.
because I like Big Dumb Comic, but there wasn't enough explanation for me, and maybe I just need to read it again.
No,
I'll accept that.
That's a good point, and that's something that like really doesn't quite bother me, but I do get it. Like there is a semi sense of rules to this event,
Mhm.
and at the end, the thing that they use to succeed is like a deviation from those rules that either is
Yeah.
like, okay, why, or why was I following the old rules, or did these rules exist, or like
All I
some
needed was a picture of Batman pushing a button and then the rules breaking or something
yeah.
like that, you know?
Yeah, and I can't quite remember, but like, yeah, the timekeeper trapper used his final reincarnation life to bring Superman back. And in doing so, maybe he just had all of this infinite creative power and energy to be able to bring everybody back. That's good enough for me, but it also
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think my gripes with it are going to surprise you at all.
Yeah. Yeah. That is something that is kind of a cheap Deus Ex Machina that, a Morrisonian concept and Superman-y, but like, the extreme positive goodness of all of this idea was so pure or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm always just like, yeah, totally. He's Superman. He can do anything. He's
Yeah.
Superman. That's what we say. We made these comics that he can do anything. So he gets to do anything. But
Yeah. It's
yeah,
fun
I
though.
can. I loved it. I loved the way it looked. I loved the feelings that it conveyed. I loved the kind of closure that we got with the board game night. I loved the Wes Craig art at the end. And I loved that it was an end, but in, the Crisis on Infinite Earths and Final Crisis and that sort of stuff, it really did feel like it was ushering in a kind of new era or a new thing that we're going to.
Mhm.
And I think that when you can add a kind of whole publisher line like that,
Yeah.
kind of add the NOS button to the street race,
Yeah.
you're getting those pink slips at that
I
point.
I think it did just like event wise, I think it did a really good job of crossing everything over, not forcing you to read everything, but rewarding you for reading everything.
Mhm.
Like you get or maybe that's my gripe here is that I missed the Aquaman issue or whatever that explained how they were going to hack the contest.
Yeah.
But like I never felt lost. I kept up with the books that I was interested in. I dipped in on one of the middle issues of Titan and enjoyed it, but didn't feel like I was lost at all. Like I appreciate that just structure wise for the larger event.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Bubba Black says you really have to trade your whys for why nots.
Bubba Black.
Fine, Bubba, you're right.
I couldn't agree more, you sweet angel. Oh, Bubba's a sweet angel.
Why not like it? Fine.
Yeah,
like
why
it.
not like it? That's a great point. Hey Django,
Yeah.
check this out.
Right.
I was down at Emerald City Comic Con this week.
Mhm.
I was there on Thursday, which is the first day of the con.
Yep.
And did I show you the incredible piece of art I got?
No, I didn't know you picked up
the
any.
Kenshin. Maybe I did.
Ooh, here, let me
watercolor Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Like it's the original, and like it's clearly gorgeous watercolor. But he is my favorite guy. He's one of my favorite characters in all the fiction of all time. So, but yeah, I got that. But one of the things that happened while I was down there is I ran into my friend Craig Mueller, or Mumi Bear, as it were.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Phil. Hey, Mew Bear here. Oh no, I'm just kidding. Mew Bear's a human being. But I ran into Craig Mueller, and he's a wonderful member of our comic shop family. Coincidentally, I have an email from him right here for our episode here. Hi, folks. Welcome back from Comics Pro. Looking forward to hearing all about it. So what the heck has been going on with Image new releases lately? Dork and now White Sky. Massive demand and huge online prices for what should be fairly niche stuff. Reddit abounds with conspiracy theories. I love supporting Image titles, but yikes, what's the inside skinny? Craig, not in it for profit Mueller. Yeah, see? Other people have noticed it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It, Is there a movie like the White Sky one? Is there something there?
I don't think any of this stuff has even been optioned. It's
Okay.
just popped off.
We are at a time where like Beauty has just started as a comic TV show.
But it didn't really spike issues.
Yeah. I think it's just kind of like we had mentioned, but like it is a way that some people interact with comics and and interact with things, right? Like when there is a new record that I want, or if I wanted in like a cool splatter color or something, like I try to get there quick. I try to order the one, I don't necessarily try to sell them, but like I want the rarer, cooler one for me. It's just,
just a thing.
It's just part of comics, but it is interesting that it is like very tied to Image right now, but not exclusively. But
also Vault.
Yeah,
there were
Nectar was Vault.
3 this week that were surprisingly, more
Nectar,
than double
Narco.
value.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited to go along for this ride.
Yeah, I am too. And one of the worst parts about it is that, and I mean, historically it was like the 90s kind of crash of the industry, which was the pendulum of this swinging super hard, and then people making some big mistakes in the industry. But because that has happened, I don't think we as an industry could ever make that same mistake again.
Yeah, I think the big difference there, I think there are probably 1,000 more stores, or maybe even more than that.
That's a good point.
And people were ordering, long boxes of Legends of the Dark Knight #1 and stuff like that. And so when you're going that hard on stuff, speculating for the store, hoping that they're going to sell, it only takes a couple of weeks of things not working out for you to be on in a real precarious situation.
We call that the Mighty Mouse scenario.
That's right.
It's what we do. Hey, Django.
Yeah.
I got a book that
9.0.
10.0.
Is that what you were going to ask?
No.
10.0.
He gets the 10 from me.
Dang.
Mwah! Love it. Everything I love
duck.
about superheroes in there.
I love it.
So the Fantastic Four is a book that we have loved, and within the last couple of weeks, at least since the last time we were been on here, Fantastic Four issue number 8 came out. This is Ryan North's run. Humberto Ramos has been doing art on it. And what is exciting to me to bring up is this is issue 3 of the arc, The Invincible Woman. The first issue, the Fantastic Four found a distress signal embedded into the fabric of reality coming from Galactus that said, "Find Susan Storm." The second issue, we get them traveling through space to go find him. And then the third issue, out of nowhere, it seems like it's starting to give us the origin of Sue Storm as the Invisible Woman. And as you're going through it, it mostly seems the things that you are familiar with throughout it. However, at some point, things start to get a little bit dark, and she has a nightmare one day and kills everyone on the planet except for Johnny Storm, and like starts to lose her mind. And then she tries to do surgery on her brain to remove the part of her brain that was making her feel guilty, but she ends up removing her like conscience. And we just full on get a deranged, hyper evil Sue Storm that is clearly coming from a different reality. And at the end of this issue, they've found Galactus, and that bad lady, the Invincible Woman, has shown up to confront our Fantastic Four. This is where I kind of wish we had Roman, because this character has existed before, but I think this is a new origin for her.
Yeah, I don't know the original origin, but the way that they do it is like, this is just one of, so like the universe is so vast that somewhere out there, there's an almost identical version. It's not even like an alternate dimension. It's just another Earth
parallel
that was almost the same as ours, except Sue was so powerful that things went bad. I thought it was amazing.
I thought it was amazing too, and I have a subjective deep love for it, in that Sue Storm is one of my favorite superhero ladies and biggest crushes in the comic book universe, except she's a little goody-goody. Enter the invincible woman who will remove portions of her brain, whether that's morally objective or not.
And the body horror where they just
Ugh.
show her going partly invisible to perform her own lobotomy. Like, you know this about me. Longtime listeners have probably figured this out about me, but lobotomies really, really bother me. Like, oh yeah, it's one of my least favorite things to watch in our history. Like, if you put a lobotomy in your horror movie, it's gonna mess with me and make me so uncomfortable I almost can't watch.
What about mummy things where they do the thing where they stuff the hot thing up the brain and wiggle it around to pull the brain out, like up through the nose?
Already
pulling out?
dead and killing you. Like
Okay.
this breaks you in a way that you can't get back. It makes
Yeah.
you dumb. And I think that your brain is the most important part of your body,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
to have that neutered, especially by somebody else. Yeah.
Neutered. I like how much Ryan North is willing to just get kind of dark and brutal at times, and he's
Yeah.
dabbled with that throughout this Fantastic Four run. But this one was like one of the darker, more angsty things. So they've been showing this character on the cover for the last couple of issues in this run. I was sort of like, is she going to show up? What's happening? But we did finally get an explanation for it in here. It's the first seemingly like, you know, multi-part story, certainly of this Fantastic Four volume of his, but maybe like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Ish.
But and each of these has also been kind of standalone, right? Like the 3
Yeah.
issues, you
Yeah,
could have
that's true.
dropped in on any of those 3. They're
For sure.
related. And it was the same thing in those first 4 issues where the team was all separated over time. You could have read any one of those, but you
And
were
this
rewarded
one-
for reading 4.
This one would have been really good to be able to just drop in on because So
Yeah.
just continues to be one of the best things in the whole dang world. Thank you so much,
Yep.
Ryan North. I love you. I love
He
you.
does. He does. I'm going to give it an 8.5.
I'm going to give it a 9.
Pretty good scores for a comic book.
Good scores. Hey, Django,
Yeah, buddy.
do you like Absolute Superman?
I do like Absolute Superman.
Did you read this Absolute Superman?
Oh, Jeff, it was one of the last books I read this week. There's something about Absolute Superman. I think I just don't like his haircut or something. It never is something that I want to read as a priority. And invariably when I do, I'm happy that I have. And this one
issue was
holy
effed
shit.
up.
Yeah, this is so good.
So this is the second issue that Juan Ferreira has been doing the art on it. He's filled in a couple other times, but he did 16 as well. So he's not the main artist on the series, and I love his art.
Mm-hmm. When something gross has to happen, he shows everybody's teeth.
Yeah.
And it's so good. Like this issue is Parasite is attacking the city, and Hawkman, who we met last issue and who was kind of a butthead.
Yeah. Totally.
Hawkman is saying like, oh no, we just got to kill all these people that Parasite is feeding off of. And Superman comes up with a nicer way to take care of things, but it's bloody and terrifying and highlights Superman's ability to make people feel hope. That's how he gets them out of there. But just like over and over, we get people with their eyes and mouths being forced open, sort of Clockwork Orange style.
Yeah, like
it's so gross.
Slimy things holding all of their appendages and going into their holes. There's the shot where Superman finds Jimmy Olsen as a part of it, and he's just saying, "Kill me."
Yeah,
like that's brutal. But what has been, so dark.
So good.
But the last 2 pages of this have been following up on this thing that's just sort of been happening in the background lately of Brainiac showing up in Missouri to Lex Luthor's house. And Lex Luthor seems like, by all counts, a good family man in this reality. And Brainiac has, it looks like, murdered all of the guy's family right in front of him. And is covered in their blood and has been holding his eyes open so he has to see it with chainsaws. And then he's just like, all right, I'm out. Like,
and not even just murdered. Like there's the top half of a kid's head.
Yeah.
On the ground there. Like it's like Simon Bisley Lobo style in front of you.
deeply messed up, dark final image. And again, it's a separate page with somebody else getting clockwork oranged with their eyes. So Brainiac, is basically here, and he's like, make yourself interesting, like you're supposed to be interesting, and yet you're not. I'm really eager to see what all of this evolves into with this comic run.
Yeah.
That it is the recipe for an evil, messed up Lex Luthor. So I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Super, super good. I'm realizing that I really like Parasite.
Yeah, you do like Parasite.
Yeah. I always thought he was kind of cool, like purple dude who takes everybody's powers and Superman can't get close to him or he'll get Superman's energy. But this, and it was Superman a couple of years ago that had like two very interesting takes on Parasite.
Yeah.
And I'm really digging the way that they're messing with him. I wonder if he's going to be in one of the, like in the next movie or something.
Yeah. He's one of those characters that is kind of infinitely interesting based on who's writing him. Like there's an infinite potential to be interesting, but also kind of mundane and cliche if it's not done innovatively. Yeah, and just some really interesting Juan Ferreira panels, like panels inside a picture of a guy's head and stuff. So
the shot of Lois jumping off a dock backwards in the panel, and it's like a shot of her at every stage of falling into the water and swimming away.
Yeah.
So good. It's like it adds 9 panels to the page all in one.
So good. Django, can I holler at you really quickly about a book that came out a couple weeks ago, but I'm curious if you read it, and I think it's worth mentioning.
Yeah. Should we give this one a score first?
Absolutely.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 9.
9 for me.
I really liked it. Good stuff.
Yeah.
What are you yammering on about?
Chip Zdarsky is writing a thing. It's called Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon. Chip Zdarsky has been writing Captain America. He is one of the key architects for the next couple of years of Marvel Comics. He was mentioning online that he's been part of a writers' summit doing that lately, planning the next couple of years. He did Avengers Twilight. He did another really good kind of dark late story that I forget, but this seems to be leading into a sort of foreshadowed large event that his Captain America is also leading into. And interestingly, it seems connected to the origin boxes, which are the boxes that the Maker had that contained everyone's powers in the Ultimate Universe that he had taken from them. So it sounds like these origin boxes have kind of gotten into our world and they're tracking them down. This is just interesting because like Chip Zdarsky is just a really good writer.
Yeah.
This is just a Wolverine story. He's meeting up with somebody who hunts mutants, and they got to go find a kid because it seems like this kid's been kidnapped, and Nuke's there, and that guy has a tattoo of a flag on his face. And it's just he at the end stumbles upon the area or the house of the Captain America that was in Afghanistan at the beginning of the Chip Zdarsky Captain America run recently.
Well,
so all of
that verse.
Yeah, it's all kind of coming together. I think Zdarsky is great because he's funny. That's always seems to be connected to like a darkness and an obsession with morality or mortality or something. His angsty dark stories I think are really good, and he seems to be getting the opportunity to do that with this Weapons of Armageddon and whatever it's leading to and whatever the kind of big event that it's going to all be about is. So I'm excited for this. I want to read the rest of it. Had you read this, Gangi?
No, I didn't read it. It must have come out on a week that I wasn't paying really close attention. I read so little Marvel right now.
I think it was Comics Pro. Yeah.
This cover jumps out at me.
Yeah. Too bad it's not the A. They chose a less good cover for the A, but there's also the Zdarsky one where it's him sitting in the chair with all the Weapon X wires coming off, like by perspective. Really good stuff.
Nice. Oh yeah, this is the second printing cover. Whoops.
Yeah. I would give this one an 8.5, like a solid 8.5.
Nice. That's a big thumbs up.
It's a big old thumbs
Oh
up.
yeah, that cover A is not very good. That's
It's
why I
not
didn't
very
grab
good.
it. If it
Yeah.
had been this, is this the book that had that awesome picture of Wolverine sitting in a chair
That's
with
the one I was just talking about.
CMYK cables?
Yeah, exactly. The
That's
Weapon
the
X
C
stuff.
cover. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so good.
that's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's the Zdarsky cover.
All right, Jeffrey Figley, you gave that you said an 8.5 on the Richter
Solid
scale.
8.5. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk without too many spoilers
Yeah.
about Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rites of Spring number 6.
Y'all remember we talked about issue number 5. Django just raved about it, and I, in the background, then went and collected all the issues and have been reading it, but I have not quite caught up for this. So I appreciate the lack of spoilers.
Yeah, I wouldn't give that that courtesy to our listeners, but I'll give it to you. I'll spoil it for them. So this is the last issue in the Rites of Spring sequel, and I've heard that there's a threequel coming up. It would be a twoquel, another sequel, a second sequel.
Episode 3.
And this one, like the last issue, kind of put Samantha past the point of no return, and this one just continues that. And you know, at some point when you realize you're rooting for the bad guy, you kind of start questioning why you're rooting for the bad guy. Like when you're watching Dexter and you're like, oh, I hope he gets out of this one so he can keep murdering people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I heard another podcast I was listening to this week was talking about The Shield in a similar way. Like in episode 1 of The Shield, they kill the guy from Internal Affairs, and then they spend the next six seasons trying to cover it up and get away with it. And the whole time you're like, oh, I hope they get away with it. But they're just objectively bad people. And at some point you start rooting against them. And I think last issue or the issue before is when you start sort of rooting against Sam the Bear here. And this is just still masterful comic booking.
Yeah, it reminds me of like Breaking Bad, right? You know,
Yeah.
Walter White. And at some point you're like, I can't root for this guy. Like there's no happy ending for this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's bad. And that's a 10.0 for me. Just like you made me feel for somebody and then made them bad and made me feel those feelings too. Well done.
Wow. Can't wait to read it. I think you gave the last issue a 10 as well. So that's pretty masterful stuff.
Yeah.
Django, I think the only thing worth getting into before we get out of here is a little visit to the cave, the Bat Cave, my friend, because we got to see an old friend this week that has been a little bit since we've seen him, and wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay. We talked last time, I think actually literally the last episode of this podcast, we might have talked about number 6.
Okay.
It's been that long. And there was a dude in a tank, like a Luke Skywalker back to tank situation at the end. And there was some discussion about who it was. And for some reason, I had completely forgotten that I knew that there was going to be a Joker holdout in the very next issue.
Oh.
So there shouldn't have been any question in our minds about what it was.
Yeah.
Like Matt Fraction just said when we saw him in Portland, like, oh yeah, get some extra copies of the next issue because it's going to have an awesome gatefold inside. And so it was the Joker. And this Joker is, I guess we don't know why he's in there.
Well, I think is it Hush stuff?
I don't know. We still have 5 issues or something left. Like
Yeah.
there's no way to know what happens between those, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That is my assumption. Just
in
because
that case, spoiler alert, guys, for something that's
Yeah.
going to come out in 2 years.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Yeah. But yeah, weird. But yeah, or you know, like they've done some brain surgery on him, right? Isn't he by this? They're doing experiments on him or something.
Yeah. So the doctor who doesn't like Batman, but who went on a date with Bruce Wayne, has hooked the Joker up to some cranial implants and has him in that back to tank. And the Joker can talk on a computer screen. Batman's not allowed to leave a series of green squares or he'll get electrocuted while he's talking to the Joker. And, you know, the Joker is somehow manipulating janitors from within this thing. Like it kind of touches on the mystical a little bit,
Hmm.
which I don't really love. I don't like it when the Joker gets, connected to the deep, dark,
Sure.
ooky stuff of Gotham
Yeah.
City or whatever.
I didn't get that vibe quite as much in this.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I assume it's like that he knows the guy or has been able to communicate with him or something. But I agree. Like for my Batmans, unless it's a mystical villain, like I'd
Right.
rather it not.
Keep
How
it.
about that he's a little chunky?
I like that.
He's a little chunky in here. Like he can't
Yeah.
move, and it's like, wow, Joker hasn't been overweight ever.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. What did you think of so the center spread is a picture of the Joker's face, and he says, I remember everything. And then you open up the center spread and you get a 4 pages next to each other of the Joker's version of what he remembers. And I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting sort of what he prioritizes in this and like the versions of everything that he's remembering. So of course there's Joker fish and there's like some Joker antics where he's like, jumping away
Stretchy
from
arm.
Batman through comic panels and yeah, the stretchy arm that he's got. But then it gets darker and darker. I thought the inclusion of Punchline in here was super weird in the
Yeah.
photographs.
Yep.
And I don't know if maybe it was going to be Killing Joke stuff and they said no, we don't do that anymore.
Because I thought the same thing because they look like Polaroids with their photos, so I assumed it was a
Yeah.
reference to Killing Joke. I think it's a gorgeous double page spread, but I'll say that like I think it could have had more stuff in it. Like
Mhm.
it is this gorgeous double page spread of a bunch of key Joker moments and stuff, but like missing quite a few, or just
Oh,
like lots of space not used, kind of the bottom left and bottom right.
I just noticed that it's also him with the cut off face. Like
Where?
the center Joker is the Scott Snyder Joker with the
Oh yeah,
face
look at that.
stapled back on.
And those photos are just in Punchline's cleavage.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
That's
Yeah, there's
kind
a
of a
lot
weird
going on
choice.
here.
Yeah, but it is just unabashedly interesting and gorgeous. And the double page spread that it opens up into is his face in the tank. So it's a really cool opening it up and getting inside of his mind.
I wonder if this is Fraction telling us what counts for his story.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, we're having a large deference to Punchline.
Oh no.
I do really like this doctor, even though
Yeah.
she's a little stubborny. It's weird. Joker's communicating through text on a computer, but his thoughts can be conveyed that way. So you
Mhm.
get a lot of like Joker text, and it's more straight ahead Joker text than we get in a lot of situations. But he
Yeah.
does say to Batman, "Someone's coming to kill you, Bruce."
Okay.
And so, yeah, what do
Okay.
you got? What do you got?
I don't care. How many times have we been told that the Joker knows that Batman's Bruce?
Mhm.
Like that's not a final page reveal for me.
And I thought that the whole thing was that, and it has been addressed multiple times, that like he knows and doesn't care.
Yeah. And Batman knows that he knows, right?
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least in many stories. So like if he had said, I helped your parents fake their deaths, Bruce, that would have been like, holy cow, I can't
Yeah.
wait for the next issue.
Yeah. It really is more of a kind of like that Joker double page spread there, establishing what is true of this run. Just so
Sure.
for this thing, Joker knows who Batman is.
Yeah. I
Like
mean, I
that.
guess every comic is somebody's first comic. And if this was my first Batman comic, I would have been blown away by
Yeah.
that reveal.
Or I would have assumed that he's already known him for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So Batman having to be barefoot while he's talking to the Joker is pretty funny.
I love it. And that final page that is a large shot of Batman with the Joker in the background has this like really interesting fisheye lens perspective going to it.
Mhm.
Like that's a really interesting perspective on that page.
It's almost got some Riley Rossimo flavor.
Yeah, the eyes, and then like kind of Kirby-esque with just like a camera is kind of like he's coming up at the camera. Just really interesting. And I cannot wait for Tony Fleece's Deathstroke the Terminator series.
Yeah, that ad looks good. It's the first time I've been planning on reading a Deathstroke book before it was presented to me.
Me too.
So just I don't want to talk about Narco, which is one of the big speculator
Well,
books
we're
this
just
week.
saying Batman
Well,
scores.
but
Okay,
this is
okay.
related
Yeah.
to this.
Okay, cool, go.
I talked to the writer, Doug Wagner at Emerald City, and told him, like, I really enjoyed this issue. It kind of ties in his plastic universe and vinyl universe and all that into one world. And he said, this is, I wanted to do something like Rear Window.
Mhm.
And it's got this guy who, when his blood pressure gets too high, or when his BPMs get too high, he passes out. And he sees a woman through his peephole, his fisheye peephole, get murdered and dragged away, and then he passes out. And it's like the best cliffhanger, because you want to know what happened to her. He can't see beyond this little tiny scope. Like, I read that and I turned the page ready for whatever was next, and I was like, oh, it's an ad. Dang it. And like, that is the cliffhanger I felt like this Batman was leading up to, was something that was going to make me have to read the next issue.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it didn't stick that landing for me. So I would give it an 8 if it didn't have that gatefold, but I'm going to give it a 9 because I'm a print freak.
I'm gonna give it a 9. Love the blue, love the camera art. Where the vantage point is on other panels, the double page spread. I like a chunky Joker.
Yep.
I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it.
Nice.
It's just absolutely fantastic. I had a lot of 9s this week. Oh yeah, let's talk about Comics the Magazine before we go.
Yeah.
Django, this is a cool thing, and it's coming out next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, subscribers at the Comics Place, make sure you get Comics the Magazine, issue number 1. It's the coolest comic magazine release that there's been since Wizard number 1.
Yeah, we got some advanced copies at Comics Pro. We're quantumly entangled with the a bunch of the people behind the magazine, but it's really cool. I don't know if you noticed near our stairway a couple of months ago, I put up a copy of Wizard number 1 and Comics the Magazine number 0.
Yeah.
When this comes out, I'll probably swap it over to Comics the Magazine number 1.
And there's an ad for Django and Jeff in it.
Oh yeah, there's the second appearance of us in Comics the Magazine.
And Phil Barry's in there.
Barry is in there. So it's like, I don't know, we're planning on sticking one in everybody's file. So if you're a subscriber, you'll probably have one in your file. We'd love to get feedback from you. It's got a $2.99 cover price, but we're going to give a bunch of them away for free and see who likes getting them. It's done clearly with a love of comics, and not with, sometimes you can see these magazines and be kind of cynical about why they're being made, but this is like, let's celebrate these comic books, and it's super fun.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So look for that next week. Everybody, let's get on out of here. Thank you, everybody who contributed. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Craig. You can send an email to jeff@thecomicsplace.com. Please do that. And we're excited to see everybody next week. Right?
I'm super excited to see everybody next week. Right? We're doing this next week? Probably doing this next week.
Yeah, traveling is a thing we're always needing to be aware of, but
yeah.
All right, everybody. Sorry, Django, you really dropped the ball on that.
What?
What?
First nickel lullaby just got here. Hey, buddy.
Nice.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, see you later.